Perfection is a silent thief. It doesn't break in loudly. It doesn't leave a mess. It slowly takes things, your joy, your spontaneity, your sleep, your peace. It whispers, "You're almost there. Just fix this. You can rest after one more round. Don't let them see the flaw." And you believe it, because perfection sounds like safety. It sounds like success. It sounds like love. But what it really is a moving finish line. And the more you chase it, the more life you miss. This isn't a confession, it's a release. Because I've spent years chasing perfect and outrunning presence. And now, I'm learning to trade perfection for peace. And maybe you're ready too. It didn't come from failure, it came from pressure. A red mark on a paper, a raised eyebrow, a slow clap that didn't reach the eyes. I was praised when I performed, corrected when I slipped, loved, it seemed, conditionally. So I tried harder, stayed up later, smiled bigger. Because maybe if I was perfect, I could avoid the sting. That belief followed me into classrooms, into friendships, into love, into aging. Always one more thing to fix, one more piece to improve, one more part of me to polish before I was ready. But ready never came, because perfect doesn't exist. And all the while, life was happening right outside the frame I was editing. Some rules were written, most were implied. Don't speak unless you have something impressive to say. Don't fail in public. Don't try unless you're sure you'll win. I obeyed them so well, I didn't even know I had a choice. I became excellent at anticipation, at reading a room, at adjusting who I was to fit the version that would be praised. It started small, smiling when I wanted to speak, apologizing when I didn't do anything wrong, holding back an idea just because I feared it might not sound smart enough. Soon I was editing myself in real time, not just around strangers, but even with friends, even with family, even when I was alone. I was constantly scanning. What will make me look capable? What will make me sound composed? What will make me lovable? The rules weren't always said aloud, but I knew them by heart. Don't show need, don't show weakness. Don't be too much, don't be too little. Just not be perfect. And so I became polished, efficient, admired, but never free. Because while perfection made me likable, it never let me feel known. I could win praise in every room except the one inside myself. And slowly, quietly, I began to ache for something else. To be held not for my excellence, but for my existence. To be loved not for how little I needed, but for how much I was willing to finally show. People say perfectionists love the spotlight, but what they don't know is the spotlight is terrifying. Because if you're seen, you can be judged. If you're visible, you can be exposed. So we strive for perfection, not because we want attention, but because we're afraid of being truly known. Known in our mess, known in our doubts, known in our humanity. Perfection became my armor, my camouflage, my shield against rejection. But here's the truth. You can't be loved while hiding. You can't be connected while edited. Every time someone praised the version of me that was spotless, my heart whispered, "If only you knew the rest." What they didn't see, the sleepless nights perfecting the details no one noticed, the quiet anxiety before every decision, the self-criticism that echoed louder than applause. I wasn't chasing excellence, I was running from shame. Shame that told me, if they saw the real you, they'd leave. If you make a mistake, you lose value. If you slow down, you'll fall behind. I remember sitting in meetings, smiling while my insides were shaking. I remember receiving compliments and feeling like a fraud. Because perfection doesn't feel like confidence. It feels like pressure with a pretty face. But something shifted when I began to let myself be seen. Not as flawless, but as real. I shared a mistake, and someone said, "Me too." I asked for help, and someone leaned in. I stopped apologizing for my humanness and found deeper connection. It turns out the version of me I was most afraid to reveal was the one people were actually longing to meet. Perfectionism has a mantra. If I just try harder, I'll get there. So I tried harder at everything, all the time. I tried harder to be kind, to be capable, to be composed, to be everything to everyone. I thought effort was the answer, that if something still hurt, I just hadn't done enough, that the anxiety was proof I cared, that the fatigue was a badge of honor. But slowly I began to realize perfection doesn't reward effort, it punishes humanity. The goalposts keep moving, the standards keep rising, the applause gets quieter, and the self-criticism gets louder. And what's worse, the harder I tried, the more disconnected I felt. Disconnected from joy, from ease, from people who didn't need me to perform, from myself. Because I was chasing a life that looked good, but didn't feel real. Eventually, I asked the question I'd spent years avoiding. What if trying harder isn't what I need? What if the answer isn't more effort, but more compassion? More stillness? More letting go? And slowly I started to test it, saying no to overcommitting, sitting in the discomfort of not finishing every task, allowing silence when I didn't have answers. And in those moments, I didn't fall apart. I began to come home. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not try harder, but to finally let go of the belief that you have to earn your worth. There's a strange kind of loneliness that comes from being the one who always has it together. You become the dependable one, the one who solves the problem, the one who listens at 2 a.m., the one who holds space for everyone except yourself. People admire your strength, but they don't see the weight. They trust your calm, but they don't feel the storm inside. You learn to cry in private, to breathe through panic silently, to break efficiently so no one notices. That's what perfection teaches. Don't be a burden. Don't be messy. Don't be real. So you armor up, smile through it, clench your teeth through grief, handle everything so well that even your closest people forget to ask, how are you really? And the longer you wear that mask, the harder it is to take off. Because what if they only love the version of you that's unshakable? But you know what I've learned? Letting people see your struggle isn't weakness, it's invitation. An invitation for real connection, for shared humanness, for a love that doesn't just survive imperfection, but grows deeper inside it. I used to believe being strong meant holding it all in. Now I know, true strength is letting someone else carry a corner of your sorrow and trusting you're still lovable, even when you don't have it all together. I don't remember the exact moment the mask cracked. It wasn't cinematic. It didn't happen in front of a crowd. It was quiet, ordinary. I was brushing my teeth, looking into a mirror I'd looked into for years. And for the first time, I didn't like the eyes looking back. Not because they were tired, but because they looked like someone I didn't know. I had spent so long being on, for work, for family, for appearances, that I didn't know what I looked like. Off. So I sat down, toothbrush still in hand, and let it hit me. I didn't want to be impressive anymore. I just wanted to be real. I cried, hard, not because something terrible had happened, but because for the first time, I let something honest break through the shell. And the world didn't fall apart. No one ran away. The sky didn't collapse. Instead, something beautiful happened. I felt relief. Relief from the performance, from the pressure, from the endless dance of being palatable, presentable, perfect. That night, I didn't fix my face before I went to bed. I didn't rehearse what I'd say tomorrow. I didn't rewrite a single part of myself. I just existed, flawed, free. And in that stillness, I realized I didn't need a new version of me. I needed the courage to return to the one I buried beneath the performance. For most of my life, success had a checklist: degrees, promotions, praises, a polished image, a life that looked good on paper. And I checked the boxes, one by one, until the paper was full, but my soul felt empty. No one warned me that you could achieve everything you were taught to want and still feel like a stranger in your own life. That's the trick of perfection. It gives you goals, but never lets you ask if those goals are even yours. So I started asking, what does success mean to me if no one is watching, if no one is clapping, if no one is keeping score? It was awkward at first. Unlearning is never elegant, but slowly I began to let go. I let go of speed and embraced rhythm. I let go of control and trusted moments. I let go of certainty and made room for mystery. I began celebrating things that didn't show up on resumes: rest, laughter, boundaries, peace. I started measuring a good day not by how much I produced, but by how honestly I showed up. Because I realized true success isn't about being admired. It's about being aligned. And when I finally redefined success, not only did my life change, but I began to recognize myself in it again. There's a moment that comes quietly, a moment when you stop trying to fix yourself and simply sit beside yourself instead. No more edits, no more improvement plans, no more chasing the next version of you that might finally feel worthy. Just presence, breath, acceptance. That moment didn't arrive in a triumph. It came on a slow walk, on a soft morning, in the hush after a deep exhale. I looked around and thought, this is it. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. The dishes weren't done. The to-do list wasn't finished. My skin wasn't flawless. My schedule wasn't optimized. And still, I felt whole. That's the paradox of healing. You spend your whole life chasing the best version of you, and then one day realize the most beautiful version was the one who stopped running. Now I'm not perfect, but I'm present. I'm not polished, but I'm peaceful. And I've learned, wholeness isn't something you achieve, it's something you remember. So if you're tired and you don't know what else to fix, what else to prove, what else to perfect, maybe it's time. Time to stop striving, time to stop editing, time to come home. Because the truth is, you were never broken. You were just busy trying to be worthy of a love that was yours all along.